Hi everyone, Arlene here. Welcome back to my Country Craft Corner and Arlene's Travels. How in the world are you guys doing today? It is so good to see you again, and thank you so much for stopping back by to see what I'm up to. And what I'm up to today is I'm back. We are back. Chris and I are back from our 2-week cruise. Oh my word, you guys, we had a fabulous time. And that's what I'm here to do today. I'm here to start with my trip reports for our back-to-back Voyage of the Glaciers cruise. As always, we had a phenomenal time in Alaska. What can I say? Alaska is my happy place. I only like it less than my home and spending time with my family. Alaska is my definite most favorite place to vacation, to cruise. And I can't wait to bring you all the sights and sounds and wonders of Alaska. There are a couple of things that I want to touch on before I get started. One, the elephant in the room, if you will. Did I gain weight on this cruise? Yes, I have gained about the other day when I first got home, I had gained 5.5 pounds. And I've already lost one of those pounds, you guys. Only 5.5 pounds over two weeks, eating pretty much whatever I wanted. Is not too bad. I will say that I did watch now and again, and I did make some choices that I want to tell you guys about in another video. I don't know how anxious you are to hear about how I managed my eating regimen when I was on the ship, but I'd be glad to. I am going to bring you a video, talking about how I ate on this cruise. And like I said, I think a lot of this is water weight. Up until yesterday, my hands were swollen a little bit. My feet were just a little bit swollen. I felt just kind of mushy, if there's not a better word for that. I felt like I was full of fluid, and I think that I am flushing my system. I think it's getting out of my system the longer I'm home. So I'm not sure how long it will take me to lose back that 5.5 pounds. I've already lost, like I said, a pound of it. And I'm feeling great, you guys. I feel great that I got through this last 2 weeks with only gaining 5.5 pounds on a cruise ship with everything known to man they're willing, available to eat, for crying out loud. And I did eat. I did indulge. I did have some sweets. I did have some carbohydrates. So again, I will talk about that in a further video. Let me know if you are a little bit more anxious for that than not. I'll be glad to, record that in the coming week if you'd like to hear that. So I know a lot of you have been calling for me to do more weight loss videos, and I'm happy to do that for you guys. I'm happy to do that for you. Just to let you know, I had lost almost 81 pounds when I left. As I say, I gained 5.5. I've lost one of those now. But I still have another 50 pounds more to go on my weight loss journey, you guys. At least 50 more pounds. Yes, I have that much more to lose. Remember, I'm tall. Remember, I'm long boned. I wouldn't say I'm super big boned, but I'm long boned. Anyway, so that's one thing I wanted to touch on. And the other thing is right at the beginning of this series, to thank I'm going to cry, to thank every single one of you who stopped me and who said hello and who went, hey, isn't your name, don't you do videos? I don't know how many people I met, you guys. 40, maybe 30 for every time I turned around. Chris even told me a couple of times he went out to get himself coffee or to do whatever, and people stopped him and went, hey, aren't you Arlene's husband? Which he's like, oh, why did I ever let you put my picture up? They're recognizing me too, Arlene. Thank you guys so much. First of all, for stopping me. Second of all, for being so kind and generous with your comments, with your love, with your hugs, with your warmth. Thank you so much. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Let me also mention, yes, I do have a cold. No, it is not COVID. I have tested several times over the course of a couple of days here. More than a couple of days. Please know this is just the end of a cold. Didn't get it until I was on my way home, thank goodness. And, it's a cold. It's just a cold. And I was worried that it was COVID, but it's not. It is absolutely not COVID. So, and I have tested several times, like I said, in the last few days. I do have my tea here that I will be sipping on, but I don't know how many days I'm going to cover in this particular video, but I'm going to start way back. We're going to back up the clock here and go back to June the 12th. Well, actually, let's back up to a week before June the 12th. And let me tell you a quick story about Alaskan Air. We had been scheduled to fly first class. I will say we fly first class. Chris is very sweet with me because of my long legs. And actually, before I started to lose weight, my girth, if I'm honest, I was very uncomfortable sitting in the middle or on the end or in a row of 3 chairs. I'm just being open and honest with you guys, as I always am. But I used to feel super, super, super self-conscious and very much aware of myself and my bigness. You know, now I could fly economy and not have a problem so much. But anyway, he had us scheduled to fly first class, and we ended up on United. And we ended up flying out of Dulles, which I believe we were going to be doing out of, no, were we out of Richmond? I can't remember where we were on Alaska, going out of on Alaskan Air. But we ended up going out of Dulles, which is a huge international airport up in Northern Virginia. Kill me now. Neither one of us care for Dulles Airport. If I'm honest, I don't mean any disrespect to anybody who happens to love Dulles. But I do not love Dulles. You know, we're from down here in Fredericksburg. I don't want to have to fight the traffic to get up there and to get home. But anyway, we ended up, our flight wasn't until like 12:30 after lunch, 12:30 p.m. And so we left the house, I believe it was like 8 o'clock. And it's a good thing we did because, of course, we hit traffic. Anyway, we ended up getting to Dulles. We parked our car. We decided we're going to go ahead and pay for parking for the 2 weeks for the Outback. So we did that. Parked in, I can't remember, G Garage, or Garage 2, I think, level H or G, something like that. I have it here. 2H. We parked in 2H. Garage 2 on row H. So I had my scooter, and thank goodness I had my scooter because, you know, it is a long way from that garage to get to check-in at Dulles. So we ended up taking 4 suitcases, if you can believe it. 2 of them were half empty, but because we had to check one of our big camera lenses, because Chris just could not carry it on his backpack. So we ended up checking one of our big lenses. Please don't talk to me about checking personal items or things like that. Y'all, sometimes you just have to make choices. And we made the choice to go ahead and check it because it's just huge and too much to carry. And we have Apple Air tags in all of our suitcases, all of our backpacks, on the scooter, everything. So we kept a track of where everything was. Anyway, into the airport we went, and we got to check in, and everything went very flawlessly. I did not check my scooter there at check-in. I instead rode it through the airport, and we checked it at the gate, which turned out much better this time. And then they brought it to the gate like in San Francisco. We went from Dulles, from Northern Virginia to San Francisco, from San Francisco to Vancouver. They got it off the plane in San Francisco and brought it to me, and I was able to ride it from that gate to a gate that was very far away. So we had a 5-hour layover in San Francisco going, which was just like, oh, this is so frustrating, you know, because we could be there already. We would have been there with the other flights. So one thing was good that we were able to go into the United Lounge, like the first class lounge or whatever it is. So we were able to go in there. So they had like a little buffet in there, and we had dinner across the country. So we weren't extremely hungry. We did get a salad, and they had some jelly beans of all things. I had a little handful of jelly beans, and, you know, we just had a couple of snacks there. Got on the other plane and got into Vancouver. Okay, I'm looking at the timestamp on this picture, and we were just fixing to land in Vancouver, and it was 12:40 a.m. local time. So there you go. So we landed in Vancouver, like I said, 12:40, and it was so much. We had them deliver the scooter to the gate, right there, to the door of the plane. Now, if y'all remember my last vacation out to Vancouver, I had the scooter, but we had them like deliver it with the luggage, and they ended up delivering it somewhere down the line at a different carousel, you know. So we said this time we want it delivered to the plane door. So, buddy, here they came. They had it up there, lickety split, pretty quick, I have to say. Got on my scooter and we started riding through toward baggage claim. This time it was flawless. Everything just went flawlessly at YVR, at the Vancouver airport, y'all. I have to say, I have one complaint about it because I had that scooter with me, you know. So off we went and toward arrivals. And then we had to go through customs. So we had to go up to these little kiosks and put our passport in and, you know, have anything that we have to declare, which we didn't have anything to declare, and zipped right through there, answered a couple of questions, zipped right through there. Then we stopped at border control and just showed our passport, zipped right through there, went to baggage claim. Baggage was already coming around, picked up the baggage, got us a cart, which was right there, rolled the baggage out. Now, I wanted to tell you, when you're at that kiosk machine, you're going to get a printout. And you want to hold on to that printout. Don't like throw it in a bag. Don't throw it in a pocket. Keep it somewhere where you can find it, because you're going to have to give it to a security guard on your way out of the airport. So here we go, out of the airport, and handing this guy our little customs form, and out we go. And that was it. Bing, bang, bang. And we were done. I mean, it was, I don't even know. Let me see. What time were we in the taxi? I have the taxi ride here. We were in the taxi by about 1:30. So it did not take us long to get ourselves out of the airport and to get a taxi. We had to stand in line to get a taxi. What you do is you just go right outside and you get in line, and I'm in line with my scooter, and you pull up and there's attendants there and they get you the size taxi that you need. For those of you going with mobility equipment, do not worry. They will take care of you. They saw that I needed a scooter. They said, pull up to this. I can't remember what number that they had labeled for the place where, you know, folks who had scooters or wheelchairs or whatever went to wait. But it was just me and Chris and our luggage there. And here comes this very nice taxi driver up, got out, beautiful, clean taxi, beautiful seats, red leather seats. And he was a chatty Cathy. We were his last trip of the night. You know, and had a really, really great ride to downtown Vancouver this time. Usually we stay out at the airport, but this time Chris found this hotel. Now, I have to preface this by saying it's the Days Inn downtown Vancouver. And the reviews on this thing are not wonderful, I will say, because they complain about the elevator, they complain about this, or they complain that it's an old hotel, or they complain about that. What I am convinced about, y'all, is that people who give reviews are the negative Nancy's. How many really, really, really good reviews do you see? There are some, but there are more negative reviews than there are positive reviews, and it drives me berserk. So I'm like freaking out. I'm like, oh my gosh, we don't even know whether the scooter's going to fit in the elevator. But they told, you know, because Chris had called and said, we have a mobility scooter. Will it fit in your elevator? And they're saying, well, to tell you the truth, sir, we're not sure. But if not, you can just leave it down at the desk with us and we'll take good care of it. We're like, okay, that sounds like a good deal. So in we come into the Days Inn Vancouver downtown, and such nice people, lovely little lady working there at night. They only had one elevator, and the scooter did fit in it. I fit in it with the scooter, but we couldn't fit me, the scooter, and the luggage. Remember, we had 4 suitcases. And even if we had just 2 suitcases, I'm not sure we would have fit it all in there. But it was okay. We ended up to be on the 8th, oh gosh, I'm picking up my brain, 8th floor, I believe, in 804. Now, they did tell me that this room was bigger than some of the rest of the rooms. But I'll tell you, Barb and Dawn came in the next day, and I looked at their room, and it was a nice size. It was smaller than our room, and I don't know why we were chosen to get this larger room. I have no idea, because they knew Dawn was coming with a mobility scooter too. So We just got lucky. It had a little couch in it. It had a little coffee table. The bed was comfy. The bathroom was adequate. The desk space was adequate. It was big. It was a big room. It was really pretty to open the curtains and see the city. We were 3 blocks from Canada Place. 3 blocks from Canada Place, which is the cruise where you go to get on your cruise, the cruise terminal. They also had a breakfast on site every morning, like a little breakfast buffet. Now, it wasn't huge. It didn't have like scrambled eggs. They had hard-boiled eggs, which I appreciated. They do have a waffle machine, and I believe you could get juice and tea and coffee and milk and cereal and bagels and muffins, and I had cereal, and I had a hard-boiled egg and a cup of tea. I believe that's what I had both mornings. I don't believe I know I didn't have any pastries or anything like that. Yogurt. I knew it was something else. I knew I had something else. Had a little yogurt each morning. So that's what I had to eat. And yes, again, there was one elevator. I rode the elevator. I did not take my scooter down to breakfast. I can manage to walk, you guys. I just can't manage to walk through miles and miles of airport and miles on a cruise ship and miles from the cruise ship into the port and around the port and back to the cruise ship. That's when I have issues. But to get from our room down to breakfast, to walk around breakfast, to walk back to the elevator, to go back up to our room, I can manage that just fine. So we went down there, had breakfast, and knew that Barb and Dawn would be coming in later that day. And we decided we were going to take a trip over to Canada Place and around Vancouver a little bit. We had never been to Vancouver more than one day before a cruise, and we always seemed to arrive too late to go to do any exploring. So we decided to go and do some exploring, you guys. We got my scooter, came down, and off we went down the streets of Vancouver. It was so much fun. Chris and I just had a blast. And I'm going to be showing you pictures as I talk to you here. And we got over to Canada Place. You know, everybody is always so kind. They took our picture. We took their picture, people's pictures all the time. And Canada Place has those lovely sales. You always can Google Canada Place if you want to know about anything more about Canada Place. I'm just going to be telling you, showing you some pictures here. I really want to get to Embarkation Day here. So I'm going to be going through these pictures pretty quick. My outfits of the day, when we first left home, I about picked out my frumpiest outfit I own. And you're going to hear as I go through this, I wore my jean jeggings most of the time, but these first 2 days, the first day I wore to fly, one of my pairs of black pants, y'all, it was ridiculous by the time I got there. They were literally falling off of me. It is ridiculous. It is crazy. I'm so grateful that I've been able to lose this weight. But I wore, just a black top and one of my florally little jackets. And then at Canada Place the next day, I wore a pair of capris because it was, I would say upper 60s, lower 70s that day. But I wore one of my little cardigans and this black top, as a matter of fact, and this necklace, as a matter of fact. And so we tooted around Canada Place, all inside and out, and we just had a big time taking all kinds of pictures. The Crown Princess was in port that day, so we saw her sitting there. And we were going to be on the Sapphire Princess the next day, but that day was Embarkation Day for the Crown Princess. So as we were walking down the sidewalk, here comes a sweet lady and her husband, and I see her pointing at me. And she went, "Arlene, is that you?" And I went, "Yes, my name is Arlene." And she got excited, bless her heart. And she said, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe I've actually met you. I can't believe it." And her name was Chris Wagner and her husband, John. So we stood there and we just had a big time talking, and we had so much in common, believe it or not, with them. And you know what? I don't think I saw her once on the cruise. Saw them, that just goes to show you how many people and how big these cruise ships are. Some people you see over and over and over again. Others you might see once. Others you don't see at all. So it was crazy. But anyway, so met them, had a wonderful conversation with them, took some pictures. People, passers-by, took our picture for us. So here they are. Lovely couple. It was so nice to meet you, Chris and John. Thank you for stopping me. Thank you for stopping me. So kind of you. So then Chris and I continued on, and we walked along the waterfront for a long time, and then it started to rain on us. So I had my rain jacket on, but it still was, if I don't have to walk around in the rain, I'm not going to. So we headed back to our, actually we stopped to get something to eat first. We couldn't figure out where to eat. We couldn't figure out where to eat. Dawn and Barb ended up that they didn't get into town until later in the evening. That they were scheduled, and we had scheduled a dinner at El Canto. I can't remember the name of it right now as I sit here. But anyway, we had to cancel those arrangements. And so Chris and I said, well, we just want a quick dinner, and then we'll get something with Barb and Dawn when they get to town, So we ended up stopping at a A&W. We ended up stopping at an A&W. My goodness, I haven't been in an A&W in years and years and years, and I ended up I had a burger. And we ordered onion rings, and I did have 3 onion rings. I thought I was in heaven. I was like, oh my land, it's been months since I had an onion ring, And so we brought that back to our hotel, and then we just hung out in the hotel room until Barb and Dawn got there. And when they got there, I said, what would you guys like for dinner? Would you like McDonald's? Would you like pizza? Would you like something else? It was late. They were tired. And Barb said, McDonald's. I want McDonald's. I said, done. So took their order, and Chris went to McDonald's, which was right down the street from this place. This hotel is so wonderfully located, you guys. There are shopping all over the place. There are restaurants all over the place. The sky's the limit. I'm telling you, if you don't mind an older hotel, go for it. Try it. I don't want to say that it's beautiful. I don't want to say that it's, pristine in the way things look necessarily, but I'm not a hoity-toity person, Not that y'all are. I don't mean that. That didn't come out right. But, I was happy to be in that hotel. It was the best location we've ever had, ever. It was really good. So Barb and Dawn got there. We ended up, the little lady at the desk said, go on level 2. There's a little business center in there that y'all can gather and have your dinner. I said, that's so nice of you. Thank you so much. So that's where we met them, and hugs all around. It was so good to see them again. I'm telling you, I miss them so much when we don't see them. It was so good to see them. So we sat there and had our McDonald's, and they were pretty tired, and we were pretty tired, And we knew we had to get up early the next morning to get ready for embarkation. So we separated and went to our rooms and went to bed. And next morning was embarkation day, which was crazy, I will say, at the hotel. Crazy times. Everybody in the hotel pretty much they were cruisers. So, getting to breakfast was not too bad. We rode the elevator down and got to breakfast. And Barb just happened to be walking through, and she said, I grabbed us a table for 4. So that was lucky because it was people coming and going, and it was quite busy, I will say. So we ended up, getting our breakfast. We didn't diddle-daddle. We got up off of the table, to open it up for other people pretty quickly. We don't sit and we're sitting here, so we don't care if you don't have a seat. We're not that type of people, So we got on up out of there, and our scheduled report time, I believe, was 11:30, something like that. And we decided we were going to walk to the port instead of getting a taxi, because we had done that walk the other day. And I said to Barb, I said, I think you guys, Don had his scooter. I had my scooter. I said, the one person that might have a problem is Chris, because we have 4 suitcases. Although I could have rolled one, he wouldn't let me. I took the backpacks on the scooter. His backpack weighs 40 to 50 pounds by itself, you guys, with all the camera equipment. And then he took the suitcases, and here he is, Hulk that he was. He is a Hulk, you guys. But he didn't have one problem. He did not have one problem rolling those suitcases to Canada Place. And that's what we did. We walked to Canada Place that morning. Can y'all believe it? We walked to Canada Place. And then where you go into check-in, we went downstairs. Now, this was a little bit confusing to me. I don't remember ever having to go up an elevator, then down an elevator, then up an elevator, then down, and then up. Or I can't remember. We were in like three different elevators. And I think we were directed incorrectly, if you want to know the truth, do follow the directions of the folks there. They usually do know what they're talking about. I do believe we took one extra trip that we needed to in the elevator. But regardless, it was still a seamless process. And we were on board by, I'm looking at this first picture I took. We were on board by 11:30, you guys. I think we left the hotel at 10:30, I believe, 10:30, 10:45, something like that. And we're on board, through security, on board. Now, we do have our medallions here, and you can see, this is actually Chris's medallion. This isn't mine. Mine is in the bedroom, and I'm not going to go get it. But this is Chris's medallion, and this is what I use. I use a clip. We got these medallions before we left Virginia. You can pre-order them through the Medallion Class app. Y'all, I'm not going to go into all kinds of details. If y'all want to know how the medallion works, how the Medallion Class app works, I encourage you to go to the Princess Cruises website, put in a search for medallion, and it's going to come up with video after explanation to explain how this works. What the medallion is just a little, this is a magnet. It's actually a magnet. And I like to wear them, and so does Chris, see how that's seated right in there? In these little clips. But you just put it in there, and if it doesn't seed right away, just turn it. Just turn it like a quarter of a turn until it seeds in there. And then this clips on. I kept it right on my shirt. Chris always kept it on his buttons, on his polo shirts, you know. It holds on beautifully. I wear it on excursions. I wear it everywhere. It is great. This is your little lifeline. So they tell you to have your medallion ready and to have your passport ready. I'm also not going to have a discussion about whether or not you need a passport. You absolutely do need a passport for this cruise because you can't get into Canada without a passport. So you absolutely have to have a passport to get on this particular cruise itinerary. But I'm not going to have a discussion. I will highly encourage anyone who is cruising from anywhere, whether it's an open loop or a closed loop cruise, to get yourself a passport. You never know what's going to happen, you guys. You never know what's going to happen. And you never know where you're going to end up in the world. And you never know where you might have to fly home from. And if you do not have a passport, you cannot fly home to the USA. So please, please, please be prudent and get yourselves a passport. Anyway, so on board we went to the beautiful Sapphire Princess. Oh my goodness gracious, you guys. It was so good to be back on a princess ship. The last cruise we went on was Holland. We went on the New Amsterdam, and it was a beautiful ship, and we really enjoyed our time there. But there's something about Princess for me and Chris and Barb and Dawn too that, you know, it makes it feel like home. You feel like you're back home again. We knew our way around the ship. We'd never been on the Sapphire before. What a beautiful ship she is. Grand lady, let me tell you. And I'll tell you more about the Sapphire as we go here, though. But anyway, as I said, just follow the prompts, and you'll need to go through security and, you know, all of that same stuff. We had to wait in a waiting area for just a few minutes, no more than a half an hour, I don't think. And then we were one of the first allowed on. They allow elites and ADA on, you know, about the same time. We're both. So either way, we could have gone, you know. So on we went, and it was wonderful. Our first stop was the Piazza, which is the beautiful central location that covers 3 decks. And so the very first thing, one of the little ladies that was working at the International Cafe said, "Can I get you something to drink?" Here she is in a little picture behind me. You're going to see a lot of crew pictures. I am going to do a crew appreciation video, I think, too. Wonderful crew on the Sapphire. It was a phenomenal trip. But just to tell you about this day very quickly, Barb ran up to passenger services and got us a daily event paper or a princess pattern. They had both on they had both things written on it. This is the very first day was the princess event listings. You can see here. Sometimes it says princess patter. Well, I think it just depends on how much if they have princess patter paper. I really do think they're switching it to princess events listing. So you can see their Embark, June 14th, 2023. You can tell every night, that night is going to be a smart casual night, dressing night. And you can see the whole itinerary there. And you can see on the itinerary what each night is. Some will be formal. 2 nights will be formal and the rest are smart casual. And those are to be, those dress codes are to be adhered to in the main dining rooms. So anyway, we looked on the back of this. This is what I encourage you to do. If you want something to do when you board and your stateroom isn't ready yet, it usually won't be. But we looked on the back and you can tell on the back which dining room is going to be open for lunch. And on this ship, it was I'm trying to get it so I can point to it for you. The international dining room, which was on deck 6 aft. There you can see my fingernail is pointing to it right there. And you can see it's open from 12 noon until 1:30. Well, that's where we headed at noon. We headed there to go have our first lunch so that we could have what we always love. This time we got, I ended up getting the grilled herb spice beef tenderloin. And then of course we had the orange souffle for dessert, you know? So it was wonderful. It was absolutely wonderful. There I took a picture of it. And Chris had the salmon. And here is a little video of the orange souffle, which is popular. And
here we go. Here's Ricky. Here's Ricky. Yes. Hi, Ricky.
Hello.
And he is going to give me my
Keep it coming.
vanilla sauce. Keep going. Barb and I are going to share. Yeah. Barb and I are sharing our orange souffle. That would be fun. Perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you, Ricky. Thank you. And here's our lovely. Tell me your name again, honey.
Tanaya.
Tanaya. That's
I'm
our
a trainer.
There, she's a trainer. Thank you so much, Tanaya.
One more souffle, madam, by the window, please.
No, this one. Yes, we're sharing this, so I need a spoon also.
I've never had this before, so I'm
Thank you so much. Thank you.
waiting for the experience.
Well, the vanilla sauce was what makes it.
Yes.
I think that's good.
Yeah.
Everybody loves to get it on Embarkation Day. The only time they have it is on Embarkation Day, and they pour vanilla sauce, oh my word, into this orange souffle. It's delicious, you guys. Finished. While we were in there at lunch, our stateroom got finished. On our way to lunch, we were able to stop at our muster station. Most all muster stations are on the promenade deck. Our muster station happened to be, I think it was Club Fusion, which is the aft bar on the deck 7, because our stateroom is in the aft of the ship. And of course, your staterooms are going to be pretty much right over where your muster station is along the promenade deck. In other words, if you're forward on the ship, your muster station will probably be below you on 7, you know, wherever your room is, whatever deck your room is in. Usually like forward or in the Princess Theater, because the Princess Theater is on the front. And sometimes some are in the Wheelhouse Bar, which is mid-forward. Some are in Explorer's Lounge, which is kind of mid-ship, and so on and so forth. Ours happen to be, like I said, in the aft bar. And all you have to do is take your medallion, and there's going to be somebody standing there with their little muster station, you know, banner on, and you just put your medallion up to their little scanny thing, and you just bloop, and that means that you've been signed off on your muster station. Now, after you do that, you do need to watch the safety video. Once you get to your stateroom on your stateroom TV, simply turn on your stateroom TV and choose to play it. It's going to be there, big as life. You're not going to be able to miss it. Trust me. Just let it play, or you can watch it on your smartphone while you're eating lunch somewhere. Just let it play on your smartphone. Everybody has to do that before the ship will set sail, though. Everybody has to go to their muster station and you know, have their medallion scanned, and then watch the safety video. Then we went to our stateroom and we met our steward, Joy. His name was Joy. Absolutely wonderful young man. Really experienced steward. We really got an experienced steward this time. Phenomenal. took such good care of us, took such good care of us. For this particular week, we had mini suite D712. I'll show you a couple quick pictures of it here, but I will put up a stateroom tour, and then we had to move rooms the next week, which looks almost identical to this room. So I don't know how I'm going to do that. I don't know whether I'm going to do 2 videos or I don't know what I'm going to do. Anyway, I'm chattering along, and I notice my time is clicking away here, and I really didn't want these to be any more than a half an hour long, and I think this one is going to be a little bit longer than that. So I'm going to hush. I don't want you to think every time you're coming to my channel, you got to sit for an hour and listen to me yammer on. No. I want you to be able to come here, hear what you want to hear, and then be on your way, right? So I'm going to shut this one down, I think, for now, once we've gotten it. We really didn't do anything that evening. We went to we were scheduled for the Vivaldi main dining room every evening at the same time at 5 o'clock every evening. We ended up having a lovely waitstaff. Her name was Tanaya, like Shania, but not. Wonderful Tanaya, and her junior waiter was Tudor. Absolutely wonderful. Had them for both weeks. We made friends with the manager at the Vivaldi, who assured us that we could have the same table. Well, we actually moved one table over because we needed a table for 6 the next week. Anyway, I'll get into more details about all of that. We took off right as we were supposed to, right about 4:30, and went under the Lionsgate Bridge. And we were off. We were off going north to Alaska. Yes. Yay. I cannot tell you how happy it made me that day and how happy it makes me now thinking about it. It really is truly my happy place, you guys. And I hope that we're able to go back again. We've been so blessed to be able to go back again and again and again. And I hope we're blessed just one more time so we can go back again in the future. It's not on the books right yet, but hopefully, probably not for 24, but maybe for 25. Fingers crossed. Anyway, you guys, I'm going to close this one out. Let me go into my final words and say thank y'all so much for stopping in here today. For those of you who might be struggling or suffering with a catastrophic illness or chronic pain, I hope that you have someone there with you, taking care of you, helping you get through each day, making the very, very best out of each day. I hope there's nothing weighing on your minds or your hearts, pulling your attention away from where you want it to be or from where it should be. I love y'all to bits, hugs all around, and I keep you in my thoughts and my prayers every single day. And with all that said, I'll just say, until next time, y'all take good care. Bye-bye.